You are watching to Daytime Soap Hub. All the best and latest in television entertainment. Welcome to our Soap Hub. Subscribe and let's get started.
Bold and the Beautiful. Hope and Liam deathbed wedding ahead. Let's start the detailed video before that. Please subscribe to our channel so that we can present you with new videos. That morning the Los Angeles sky was completely strange, smoky, dirty, and restless. Hope Logan was looking out the car window, but her mind was not stopping anywhere. For several days, her relationship with Liam Spencer had been falling apart again. Betrayal, misunderstanding, and Steffi's name. These three things were making a storm in Hope's head. Still, a voice deep in her heart was saying, Liam would never do this. That afternoon, Hope received a call. Thomas was on the other end of the phone. His voice was shaking. Hope, I need to tell you something. Liam had an accident. Hope couldn't believe it at first. No, he's okay. I know he's okay. But the sound of Thomas' silent sobs brought her back to reality. Hope dropped the phone and ran out. She accelerated her car and ran towards LA Memorial Hospital. When she arrived at the hospital, it felt like time had stopped. The corridor could be heard as the doctors hurried by, the beeping of the monitors and the constant smell of medicine. Brooke, Ridge, Steffi, all standing in front of the door. No one spoke, just waiting. Brooke hugged her daughter. Hope, his condition is very bad. Liam has suffered a serious head injury. He is now unconscious. Hope silently looked through the glass of the door. Liam was lying wrapped in a white sheet with an oxygen mask on and rows of equipment around him. The man who had once been the greatest strength in her life was now lying motionless. Hope reached out and took Liam's hand. Cold, but still alive. Can you hear me, Liam? I'm here. You can't leave me. I still love you. Her tears fell on Liam's hand. Suddenly Liam's fingers moved. The doctors rushed in. Heart rate dropping. A nurse shouted. Hope stepped back in fear. Brooke held her. But Hope shouted, No, you can't let anything happen to him. He'll live, I know. After the doctor's efforts, Liam's heartbeat stabilized a bit. But the doctor said, his condition is not stable. The next 24 hours are very important. Hope sat by his side all night. She didn't let go of his hand for a moment. Steffi came and stood quietly for a while, then said in a low voice, Hope, if Liam wakes up, your name will be the first thing on his lips. Hope didn't answer, just gently placed her hand on Liam's forehead. You will come back, Liam? We haven't said the last thing yet. You promised to fulfill our dreams. The dawn was breaking outside. The doctors said that Liam's condition was critical again. Hope realized her life was now standing on a line. At that moment, only one thought was running through her mind. If Liam leaves this world, I at least want him to know how much I love him. Even in the moment before he dies, I will be his wife. Tears were welling up in Hope's eyes, but an unwavering resolve was forming in her mind. If Liam was taking his last breath, she would hold his hand and promise to love him. Old memories and decisions. The emptiness in the hospital corridor seems to be filled with a deep emptiness. The light outside is slowly coming on, but Hope's mind is not showing any light. Her mind has suddenly stopped completely after hearing the news of Liam's accident. Tears well up in her eyes, but she knows that she just has to be strong at this moment. The silence of the hospital is breaking her even more. The quiet sound of the machines, the small steps of the doctors, everything seems to make her heart cry even more. Hope then drowns in all the old memories in her mind. Their first meeting, laughter, small sweet moments flash before her eyes. How they used to kiss each other, breakfast together, and small holidays where it was just the two of them. Everything comes to mind. These moments remind her why she feels so much love for Liam. But the reality is different. The doctors suddenly enter the room and inform her that Liam's condition is serious. His heart has become very weak, and at any moment the condition could get worse. Hope's tears are forced out. But she knows that if she gives up, Liam will become even more frustrated. So she begins to find an invisible strength within herself. Hope searches for strength in her memories. But it's not easy. The faces of Steffi and the other family members come to mind. What will they do? Will they support her or will they create more confusion in this moment? She knows that her only responsibility to Liam now is to be there. She must leave all her pride, all her anger, everything behind, and be there for Liam with only the power of love. Suddenly, a decision is clear in her eyes. She decides that no matter what life says, she will be by Liam's side. And if this is a last-minute reunion at the end, she will accept it. The thought gives her a strange peace. The tears stop, but tears still sparkle in her eyes. Hope fights the fear inside her and knows that her job for Liam is to stay strong. The doctors return to tell her that Liam's condition is still stable, but that could change at any time. Hope then slowly held his hand and said, "I am here, Liam. You will never be alone. I am by your side as long as possible." These words became a promise to herself. She would be by Liam's side no matter what. Hope then went outside the hospital corridor and wet her face in the cold air. She felt that her heart was breaking at this moment, but as it broke, new strength was being born. She stood between life and death. But for her there was only one goal: to fight for Liam's love. Thus, Hope left behind old memories, tears, and her inner fear and came to a decision. No matter what, she would be by Liam's side. This decision gave her new strength, and she realized that at this moment, her love was the only power that could save the wedding. Everything seems to have stopped in the hospital ICU. Liam lies in bed, his eyes half closed, his body unable to move. The medical system is ticking, but his heart is telling him how important every second is. Hope sits next to him, holding his hand, tears in her eyes, not crying out in pain, but only counting the words of love. Every breath, every small movement awakens both fear and hope in Hope's mind. The doctors stand by him, signaling that the situation is gradually deteriorating, and the life and death struggle has now reached its peak. Hope thinks of their first wedding day, the small smiles and fun, and Liam's promise that he will always be by her side. Now those moments remind her of how quickly life can change. She knows that time is limited. Tears well up in her eyes, but she understands that at this moment she has to make another promise to the people she loves. This promise will sustain their love under any circumstances. Suddenly, Hope decides that they should get married now, even if it means dying. She quickly coordinates with the doctors and a small, secret, emotional ceremony is held in the ICU. Ridge, Brooke, Steffi, who are all allowed into the ICU, are all waiting quietly. A small wreath of fresh flowers is brought in, and Hope slowly places it around Liam's neck. Liam opens his eyes slightly and looks at Hope. Hope waves her hand to reassure him that everything is okay, and that they will be married now, at the moment of their lives and deaths. The doctors give gentle instructions, and Hope, tears in her eyes, hiding her inner fear, says, "Liam, I promise, even at the last moment of our lives, we will be together. I will always love you." Liam's eyes water slightly, a weak smile spreads across his face. In that moment, everyone in the ICU feels that love can be so strong, not just in words, but in the depths of feelings that it can transcend the barriers of life and death. A small vow is exchanged, their voices mingle with the wind, and even on their deathbeds, this wedding becomes an emotional final moment. Hope knows that Liam may not be around for long, but in this moment her love and commitment will be eternal in Liam's heart. The emptiness of the ICU, the ticking of the machines, all the fear, everything is now behind. Only their love remains, a love that is eternal even in death. In this moment, Hope understands that love is stronger in the ultimate test of life. The small wedding ceremony in the ICU ends, but its emotions, tears, joy, and commitment will be remembered for a long time. Hope holds Liam's hand tighter, knowing that this moment will be their eternal memory. Even on their deathbeds, they have forged an eternal bond to each other, that no one or nothing Ridge, Thomas, everyone's reaction. The news of Hope and Liam's small deathbed wedding in the ICU quickly spread through the hospital corridors. Steffi, who had always thought this relationship was complicated, was shocked at first. When she entered the ICU, she saw Hope sitting firmly next to Liam, tears in her eyes, but a strange peace on her face. Steffi felt so much emotion, so much love, she couldn't even imagine it. But at the same time, she felt a pang in her heart. Why couldn't she do something right now? Her internal conflict grew, because Liam was also important in her life, but Hope's firmness forced her to show respect. Brooke and Ridge stood outside the ICU door, watching this scene like a little dream. Ridge's eyes were filled with panic and anxiety, Brooke's eyes were just motherly thoughts. They knew how important their support was to Hope and Liam at this moment. Brooke slowly entered the ICU and put her hand on Hope's shoulder, saying, "I'm here, Hope. You're not alone." Ridge stands by, nodding silently, as if no words are needed at this moment, just being there is enough. Thomas' attitude is more complicated when he enters the ICU. At first, he thinks this is not the situation he wants, because he has personal relationships with both Steffi and Hope. But as he enters the ICU, he sees Hope standing perfectly by Liam's side. His heart softens a little. Thomas realizes that sometimes the most terrifying moments in life force people to show their truest emotions. He stands silently, noticing every cry, every breath, and telling himself that his job here is simply to show support. Everyone in the ICU is swept up in a deep stream of emotion. No one wants to utter a word, because the heavy emotions of this moment seem to require no words. Hope's determination, Liam's every breath signal, and everyone's silent support combine to create an emotional atmosphere. They all understand that this moment is not just a personal event, but an extreme example of love, trust, and the relationship between life and death. In the end, each family member has a unique experience upon leaving the ICU. Steffi learns that sometimes love can lead the way in even the most difficult situations in life. Brooke and Ridge realize that family support is always the most important thing, and Thomas realizes that sometimes emotions trump personal interests. In this moment, they all face a true lesson together. Love is above all else, and sometimes it can triumph even stopped in the hospital ICU. Liam's condition is becoming increasingly critical. Hope sits next to him, holding his hand, tears in her eyes, a strange peace in her heart. The doctors tell her that it could get worse, but Hope knows that now her job is to just be there, not talk. Just hold Liam with the power of love. With every breath, Hope prays silently, as if time has stopped. Liam slowly opens his eyes and looks at Hope. At that moment, Hope cracks a small smile on her face and says, "I'm here, Liam. You're never alone. We'll always be together." Liam smiles slightly, a weak but meaningful smile, which adds a strange comfort and strength to Hope's heart. This moment is not the end for them, but a new beginning, where love is greater than death. Family and friends stand outside the ICU, observing every moment with all the emotion and sadness. Steffi, Brooke, Ridge, Thomas, they all understand that this moment is a final lesson in bringing not just the two of them together, but the entire family together. The tears, the fear, the peace, all of it combined to create an emotional space that will be remembered for a long time. Liam holds Hope's hand for the last time, and says in a weak voice, "I love you, always." Tears well up in Hope's eyes, but the determination within her keeps her going. She knows that this is the most important moment in Liam's life, and that her love is acting as all the power she has right now. Everyone in the ICU watches this scene, thinking about how love can transcend the limits of life. The moment of the final farewell arrives, as Liam's breathing gradually calms down. Hope sits next to him, tears in her eyes, a strange peace in her heart. She realizes that the final farewell is also a new beginning. In this moment, she decides that no matter how difficult life is, love will always show the way. The family members standing outside the ICU are also feeling this new beginning, a new beginning that comes through love, faith, and memories. Hope slowly stands in the hospital corridor. A light softness in the air, it feels like the beginning of new possibilities. Tears in her eyes, but a smile of determination on her face. In this moment, Hope understands that life is never over. Every goodbye is a new beginning, and love is eternal. Even though this final chapter is over, the path to the future is becoming more beautiful and stronger, where Hope will move forward with her memories, love, and unwavering commitment to Liam. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a like and share your thoughts in the comments. And yes, if you want to get more General Hospital, Bold and Beautiful, Young and Restless, and Days of Our Lives updates, click the subscribe button now. Turn on the notification bell so you can see new videos as soon as they are uploaded. See you in the next video.